Hi there, happy Thursday. Thanks for joining me here tonight. We are continuing with our Granny Square block. I think we'll finish this guy pretty quick and we will start another one tonight. So thanks for joining me. My name is Alyssa Thomas from Penguin and Fish, where we make cute embroidery kits for the beginning crafter. And I'm here every weeknight at 8:30 p.m. Central Time. And it's a time that we can relax and craft together. All right, so we are finishing up our Granny Square. We have 7 more of these to go, I think, after this one. And then we'll have all of them ready for the top of this quilt, and we can start sewing the quilt together, which would be awesome. So let's just keep going, just keep kicking at these blocks. So thanks again, guys. All right. We almost got done last night. So all we have left to do is sew basically our 3 rows together. And we got to match up all these seams. So that's the biggest thing I'm concerned about. So it's helpful for me at this stage to flip it right here because we are offsetting things, and so it gets a little bit confusing. So I'm going to flip right like that. And this is our first seam that we're going to sew. So let's head over to the machine. So nice to see everyone tonight. Oh, Colleen's Embroidery of the Month is in the mail. Yes, so if you guys ordered the Embroidery of the Month bundles, they are in the mail. So they should be to you guys soon. I'm really excited to stitch them. It's that vintage sew. I'll show you once I get to this first matched seamed. But yeah, so we have the 2 sewing machines. We got the little Singer sewing machine here. I think that's just really cute. I stitched all of these. Actually, Jenna stitched these, but they were stitched with 2 strands of embroidery floss, and then we have just the 1 strand going across the top. So we have that one. And there's 2 included in each bundle. And here's my machine here. Looks just like it. So that's what I'm sewing on right now. And they have the little hearts and the little love. So they're kind of actually nice for Valentine's Day stuff too, which is coming up soon. If you can believe that. It's like we're already well into the year already. It's kind of crazy. All right, so I'm gonna take my time doing this. I gotta just match every seam as I go down the row here. So I'm gonna stop at each seam and line up the next. Trying to match all those seams. Oh, hold on, I think, there we go. Oh, Sylvia's making a dent in all her scraps for the new year. That is kind of where I'd like to be too. I want to like get some of these projects done, make a dent in all my scraps, make some fun projects out of scraps, use up all the things. I feel like it's slow motion cleaning is what using up scraps is like. I guess that's kind of what this project is too. This is leftover fabric that I have left from some of my fabric collections, and I'm just using it up. I'm slow motion cleaning everything. All right, row 1 is done. Let's throw another leader on here. I mean, this is getting rid of scraps too. This is recycling clothing right here for this guy. All right, so let's snip this from the machine. I think this guy's probably done. Yep, we got 5 on there. Okay, so I wanted to take this off. Because we gotta get this one on. Ooh, I did not line that up great, but oh well. It's easiest for me to flip this one while it's flat as well, because this is the one that I've messed up a few times, not putting it in the right spot. So okay, I think we're good right there. Oops, I'm stuck on something. Ooh, come on, wheel. There we go. Oh, shoot. I flipped that seam. There we go. All right, good. Lined it up right at the center there, and we're almost done. I guess we still have to press it and trim it. Always the two things I forget to add in my brain as part of the process. All right, last one to match up. All right, let's get some more leaders here started. All right, we're ready to press this guy. I think he is 5 on 2. Yep, 5. All right, let's get the pressing mat out here. Oh yeah, so this one, yeah, I think the one that I'm sewing on now, the sewing machine it's a Kenmore, and it's from, yeah, 1938. I think that's right, 1938. And then the other one, the Singer from this one, this is the Singer sewing machine. I just put little hearts on there because there's lots of vintage machines that kind of look like this, but it's modeled after John's grandma's Singer sewing machine that we have here, and I think that one's from 1929, I believe. So some oldies. They're fun, though. They're fun, those vintage machines, for sure. Alright, I'm just squishing the heck out of this guy. This is going to be its kind of last press that I give it, and then we'll trim it yet. Ooh, I wonder if this is an opportunity to try using that strip cutter again. I kind of don't think that's big enough, though. We'll grab it. All right, but this is always the fun part, too. We've been working at it as a diamond this whole time, but ultimately it'll be a square in our quilt, so I just like this part where we turn it, and you just get a new perspective of it. It just kind of all of a sudden feels differently, but here's what the real one will look like. So I think we cut these. I'm gonna have to check. I'm gonna grab one that's done. I think we cut them to 9 inches. Let's see. Yeah, this guy's 9 inches. So we'll trim it out to 9 inches, and I'll do that with the square ruler. Just grabbing it. There we go. All right, and cutting glove. So the guide that I'm using for this is where it folds, like that little point that happens at the fold. Not the point like right here, but the point where the fabric folds. That's kind of what I'm lining the ruler up with on this side and this side. That's going to be where I start to kind of check things out here. And in theory, they should land on the 9-inch mark here. It should also land on them. And if it's not, like it's not right now, that means I think I made my seam allowances a little too big because my block is too small. Ultimately, like for perfection, this would line perfectly on those folds, and my 9-inch mark would land perfectly on the folds. But I'm like a 1/4 inch off, so that means like I'm like a 32nd of an inch too big of a seam allowance with everything single like time I sew. So I got to make my seam allowance a little bit smaller. We'll see if that gets us better on my next one. So I'm just going to kind of go right, I'm just going to kind of center it. So top to bottom though, we're pretty well on. It's just the side to side ones. Interesting. So anyway, we're gonna do the best we can. I'm gonna trim these first 2 sides, and then we'll do the real 9 inches with the next cut. All right, let's shimmy all these out of the way. I always kind of love doing that. Shimmying up all the scraps. Okay, and now I'm gonna put that nice edge that we just cut in the bottom left. Luckily, if I'm too small or too big, we are gonna have that teal sashing here, so that's gonna help hide anything that I make like a little too big or a little too small. So now I'm gonna go exactly on those 9-inch lines here, and then we'll get like a nice square cut. About just like that. That should do it. All right. We have another finished block. Now only 7 left to go. We're getting there. So there we go. That is our next block. All nice and completed. Whew, that feels good. All right, let's get another one going. I think we might even be able to finish a whole other one here too. So let's grab our next row of strips here. Well, we'll just go in order. I'll just grab them. We'll get another one started tomorrow. But all right, so I still am amazed that this started out as this. It's kind of crazy. I just love that process. So all right, let's set this guy to the side, and we got to get the cutting stuff out right away. I'm gonna now like chop these up where the shortest rows end, and then that's gonna give us like a block of 6 strips, a block of 5 strips, a block of 4, all the way down to 2. And again, I don't have to be so perfect with cutting these because I do have a lot of excess on either side to work with. So that was nice of the designer to give us some little extra play, so I don't have to like iron all this first. All right, I'm going to separate the odd number ones from the even number ones because they get pressed a little bit differently. Okay, odd and even. All right, next up, we're going to give them a press. So the even ones, here's my even stack. The even ones, the seam allowance gets pressed away from the teal. And actually, now that I'm thinking about it, it was small on one side and not the other. The last block, a lot of that could come from the stage where I sewed these strips together, which I think that's kind of where all of any trouble that I've been having with this project, like with seams matching up, I think it all kind of stemmed from that, because I just kind of sewed them together. I guess I wasn't paying really tons close attention to the to the seam allowance, to just how, if I was wiggling while I was sewing, or like sometimes the seam allowance was a little bit bigger or smaller, so that the end one doesn't match up, the end, that the one row didn't match up well, or the one edge wasn't like exactly the 9 inches. That could be from way earlier. It could be from originally sewing these strips together and not from the sewing that I've been doing to get all of them together, but I don't know. Not sure. But it's something I'm going to keep in mind next time I do a project like this. Like, oh, I really do have to pay attention to those seam allowances when I sew these strips a little bit more, because it'll affect stuff later. I guess I just wasn't thinking quite that way. Oh, Clean says we were chatting too much, I bet. If that's the trade-off, then that's perfectly fine. Ooh, this is going to look pretty too. Alright, so those are all the even ones. The odd ones I'm pressing towards the teal, pressing the seam allowances towards the teal. I've been pressing, the top and the bottom before going in the center, because when I used to just be going like right in the center right away and getting the whole piece, but it would kind of bow my strips a little bit, so I tried going the bottom and the top and then the middle, and that's my strips are so much straighter from doing that, so I'm happy with that. So that's why I don't just go right over all of them. Okay, and then this one is towards the teal as well. So like I was just going like that, and that's what was giving me a kind of a bend. So that seems to have gone away once I just get the top and bottom real quick, and then go across all of them. Then we really dig into those seams so we don't have any folds in there at all. Some pretty colors in here. Okay, that's it for pressing. Now is when we're going to chop these all up into the little pieces that will turn into like what looks like we've patchworked, 1-inch squares together, when really we just got them from strips, which is the magic. All right, so I'm going to line one of the edges up on the inch line and then crossing it over an edge here. And no real order. Just enough so I'm not cutting through like a bajillion layers, so this one I'll scooch down here a little bit more. This is probably not the most accurate way to cut these, but it's been so fast, and I'm just sticking with it. I'm just liking chopping this all up all at once. All right, ruler. I'm going to get this first edge nice and clean, and then I'll rotate it and cut all the other pieces. I have not put a new blade in here yet, though, so I do, that was like another thing I was going to do over the holidays that just didn't happen. But it's been, I mean, I'm not pressing really hard, but you shouldn't really have to press hardly at all with a nice new blade. So it doesn't seem like there's a nick in where it just is like one thread doesn't cut. That's really annoying. I think it's just a little dull. It would definitely be worth changing the blade. All right, so the 1.5 inch strips. We'll see if we can get through this week with this blade. So far, so good. So these are stacked up, so they do kind of want to shift a little, and I'm trying to avoid that. Okay, I only need 4, so we are going to have some scraps. Alright, that's that. These are our cute little scraps that I'll sew together later. Okay, now we can start assembling. Right, we need 4 of our little squares here. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh yeah, Elna, there is a link to this pattern in the description. I think it's like $6 for the digital pattern or something, and then the people have been finding the magazine for it on eBay and stuff. Still, it is kind of from a time ago, but they do have the pattern on their website yet, and I do have a link to that. Not affiliated with them at all. It's just a project I wanted to work on. All right, so the middle square, this is going to be our middle square. I'm doing the pink square in the middle of all of these. That we don't need yet, and we don't need the rows of 6. Here we go. We don't need the sixers quite yet, so I'm going to pull those out of here. They can live on the side here for a bit. Okay, and then for the rest of these, we're going to make our little stacks. So let's take the 1, 2, 3. Our outside color, in my case, it's that teal. That's what's going to stair step. 3, 4, 5. All right, so we just need to make our other sets of those. First, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oops. I always gotta make sure that I got that teal up on the top. Sometimes I get those flipped. 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. So we get a first little kind of glimpse at what our checkerboard is going to look like. So now I'm going to just go around and around and around and sew these together. I'm going to start with the first 2 columns, and then we'll get the third one on there, and then we'll just keep going until all of these are done, all like a long chain piece little deal here. So, all right, let's start with, gosh, we could do the chain piecing. There is a way to do chain piecing where I can like not cut them off as much. Like we could do these 2, and then these 2, and then these 2, and these 2, like leave the center one, and then I would be able to cut off, no, I think I'd have to do all of these ones first, then all of these ones second, and then I'd be able to snip all of these off and sew the third onto all of them, and then snip all of these off and then have the top on. So, okay, yeah. So then I wouldn't have to, this is going to be a little bit more confusing, but I think I can handle it tonight. But yeah, this will allow us to not have to snip stuff off as often, so it should go a little faster. So again, I'm going to start with the first 2 of all of them, then I'm going to do the last 2 of all of them, then I'll cut off all of the first ones and sew the third one on, and then I'll cut off all of those ones and sew those on. So it's less cutting. I think it'll make sense. All right, we'll start with these first column ones. And I'm going to go clockwise again, just as a reminder to myself. Oh, Sylvia says brave. Yeah, sometimes at this time of night, it's sometimes better for me to do the technique that's going to take a little bit longer, but I have to use my brain less. I'm going to have to use my brain a little bit for this. But it will allow us to not have to take things off the machine all the time. Or at least we'll have one round where we don't have to do that as much. We'll see how well this works. I think this is kind of a technique that my mom uses for sewing rows together of a quilt. So like you can sew the first 2 rows together and then like, you know, the 5th and 6th row, and then you can go back to the 2nd and 3rd and sew that onto another one. I don't know. Gets a little confusing, but it allows you to keep sewing more. See, okay, now I'm jumping to the last 2. So we'll have to match up all these. So instead of having to take all these off the machine now to sew the 3rd one on, I'm just going to leave them there and skip to the end. You're just spending less time taking stuff off the machine, ultimately. Clockwise, that means this guy's next. I always want to go in rows, but I remember I was going clockwise this time. Alright, so now I can take off like all of this to there, and these guys we don't need quite yet. Alright, so that was the last one, so this will be right here. Oh, you guys, I missed one here. See, I was going by the rows and then I just completely missed one here. Well, oh well. Dumb. Like, where's the 4th one? Because my head, you know, I just said I was going clockwise, but my head was still going, like I'm reading, like, left to right. So this is like this. I guess I'll just leave that one on. I'm going to snip these off. They'll be in order right on the side here. All right, now I'm going to go back to putting the 3rd piece on. Luckily, it's easy to not make a mistake doing this because I am just, you know, it's going from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5. I'm just counting. It's not like they're all the same and I'm messing them up. Flip. I do like this pattern here. I think this is going to look fun in the quilt. Ooh, I'm so excited to get this assembled, though, the top of this assembled. We're getting there. I think, like I said yesterday, I think one more month, basically one more week of doing this, but we'll have that week next month, and we'll be ready to start assembling. So I think there'll be 6 more blocks after I'm done with this one, and they've been kind of taking. I've been able to do like kind of 1.5-ish, if I remember right, a session here. All right, let's stipple these guys. So we should be able to do 6 within a week. Okay, so now we're just doing the final assembly. So we have the first 3, and then we have the last 2 together. So now we're just flipping these together, and we'll be done. There, like so. Next up, so if I didn't make that, I think this went a little bit faster. If I didn't make that mistake of like forgetting one, it would have gone even faster than that. So I think, assuming my brain can handle it, I think I might do it this way for the next blocks, just to get those done faster. It'd be awesome to finish these in 4 days instead of 5, the last 6, because then we could actually start kind of assembling it next Friday, or not next Friday, the Friday that we work on this next, so that first week in February. All right, and then we have one on here yet. Get the leader on there, and we are done sewing these guys. Time to press. Okay, snip them all up. We're almost to like the final assembly already. See, these, we can crank through these now, I think. All right, so I'm gonna press the seam allowances that way. Then we can start putting this together. Tracy's asking if tomorrow's finish it Friday. I think technically last Friday would have been that, but yeah, I don't know. We could do a finish it Friday. I kind of want to just get more of these blocks done. So this month maybe we'll just keep going on there. So I do want that last week of the month to kind of be like a week-long Finish It Friday, where we can work on some unfinished things, or start like a, do a short little fun project. So we will be doing that. But I'll have to look around. Maybe if there's an unfinished project that's really itching at me, maybe we'll do that. But I kind of like to start fresh with that last week of the month, working on something. We'll see. So right now in my head, this is feeling like an unfinished project. We haven't worked on it in a while, and I'm like, oh, let's just get her done. That looks good. And now we can start to see what this is going to look like all together. So let's rotate them into our diamond. Ugh, alright, it's looking cute. Start throwing our middle square in, and these squares, or these strips, are strips of 6. Ooh, I like this little white area on the inside there. Alright, we are back to our 9 patch here. So I'm going to sew that first column, then we'll take it off, sew the third, press everything, and then we'll do our final assembly. And I think we should be able to get all of that done tonight yet. So this is kind of not quite where we started out today, but we're close. So let's start with these two. Row 1, column 1. Alright, row 2, the first 2 columns. Just getting that little guy on. And these last 2. These edges are so frayed because they were in those bags that I was kind of shuffling up and picking at random, so I think I kind of manhandled them a little bit. Alright, I'm going to snip them off as I go here to get get that third column. Alright, flip. Man, I've been having trouble with this blue this entire project, so I wonder if it's just that row. I happened to, when I did the strips way at the beginning, I just sewed the seam allowance so poorly that it's not matching up like ever. I don't know what the deal is with that one, but I seem to have to stretch and move that one quite a bit. The fabric feels a little bit different than all the rest of this fabric, so that could be the case too. That one's been kind of annoying this whole project, even though it's the prettiest one. Like, that's that blue that, I think it's the blue that's really close. Oh, we're like one shade off from the blue that was like the embroidery, the color of the year last year, blue. But yeah, it's been the most annoying one. All right, And here we are, last piece. Then we can press and do a final assembly. All right, zoop. That's where I have to pay attention to what seams I'm sewing next to what, because I get confused. Yep. Wasn't wanting to match on a few of those. Let's press. Okay, this is where, for this middle piece, we press those seam allowances towards the center, and for the top and bottom pieces, we're pressing them away from the center. Just like getting it from the front here. All right, that's the long strip in the middle. Kind of cruising through this today. All right, so these ones I press open. And we dig in there. Ooh, I like all this like little blue arch that's happening there. Okay, same thing for this one. It's kind of like hovering over it on this side so I don't get all these other seam allowances in the way. Then digging into that fold. All right, and there we have it. Time to sew our final rows together here. This is where we started off tonight with the other block. All right, so let's flip it. And this right here is our first seam that has to match. So I'm just going to kind of hold that so I don't mess it up. To the center. Alright, looking good. Let's get a new leader going here, and I'm going to take this off the machine so we can get that last row on there. And instead of just grabbing it and lining it up like how I do it sometimes here, this one I always like laying it out again because I get confused. This is where I sometimes, if I just grab it, sometimes I shift it up another row, and I'm, just 'cause I'm so used to kind of shifting these rows, and it looks right and everything until you get to the middle, and you're like, oh, the middle was down here. So that's why I like laying it flat, where I can see the whole thing again, and while it's flat, then flip it over so I know everything's in the right spot. Right there is the first seam, and then I can get back to the machine here. Feel like I'm in full concentration mode on getting these seams matched now. It's funny. If I stop talking, it usually means I'm going into full concentration mode. And last one here. One more to complete this row. Oh, grab two. All right, a little press and a trim, and we're done with another one. Jill says, love the pop of red in the center. Yeah, that was fun. So that's a little bit different, actually, from the instructions. We had to kind of figure that out on our own. I did talk about that at that part, so you can check that video out if you're going through the whole video process. But yeah, I had to, I think there were a whole pile of like 1.5 inch squares that you had to trim, and I kind of figured that, okay, some of those got to be the center, and there's 36 blocks, so I knew from the, 70 or however many I had to cut, that if I kept 36 of those, 36 of those would be the center square, so I cut 36 out of the red, and then I think the rest went into the border or something, if I remember right. So those I went back to the blues and everything, but just to have the center a little bit different, I pulled out 36. All right, now the part that I like. Yoop. I really feel like it changes it when you shift it that way, but okay, now I'm seeing like this blue square like really well with this little peppered in white. I'm really kind of liking this one a lot. It's kind of like a window frame there almost. I love everyone more than the last. It's just fun. All right, let's give this its final trim. So again, I'm lining up those pointy bits. And in theory, see, now this one's landing better. So now I'm kind of on those folded points here and here. And now I'm pretty well on that 9-inch mark. Like the 9-inch mark is landing on those similar points on this side. And actually down here, it's not too shabby either. So I don't know, we did a little bit better. I don't think I was actually paying that close attention to it, so maybe these strips, in this one we just did a better job at sewing them together, first of all. Looking for my glove. All right, get that pressure on there. little fuzzle guys. All right, and then let's rotate this. Now we're gonna line up that nice square edge that we did with the actual 9-inch bits. And then we'll be on that exact 9-inch square. And there we go, we got another one. I think we might have a little bit of time to chop up the next row. That'd be kind of nice. Get a little head start on tomorrow. So let's see what we've done so far here. We got these two tonight so far. So these are kind of similar ones, but they're all just a hair different, which is fun. Ugh, they're just so fun. I love them so much. All right, let's just grab the next one. We got a few minutes here yet. It'd be nice to get another one started. So I'm grabbing the next row here. So we just have 6 left now. Wait, 6. Oh, yeah. So we'll definitely be doing sashing next time. We're farther than I thought we'd be in my head, I guess. Ooh, look at this some bold colors in this one. This one's going to look totally different than the other ones. Let's try and trim and press these yet tonight. That'd be a good start for tomorrow. Okay, evens and odds. Ooh, these are all folded crazy. Evens away from the teal. Ugh, all these extra little steps getting a little farther. It all adds up. Ooh, I really like this green next to the teal. It's a color combination that I wouldn't have like consciously picked. Like I wouldn't be in a store and pick these two colors to go together, but I really like them. So like I gotta make a mental note that I like those together, or I should try something with them at some point again. I like little tricks like this though, like putting the even pile and the odd pile together, because I just picked this one up and started pressing it in the exact same way, and I wasn't thinking at all. Like same with this one, I'm just going to lay it down and start pressing. Whereas if I just put it in a stack, I'd have to be like, okay, wait, now is this one, do I press towards the teal or away from the teal? I was helping out future self and present self, which was the future, is thankful. Thankful for past self, helping me out. Ooh, I like how light, dark. This is going to be more of a checkerboardy one. All right, now these guys I press towards the teal. So I'm thinking, if I do this tomorrow, that'll be good, because next month we will probably have a real finish it Friday during the first week, which is when we normally work on this. So we're gonna not have a day of working on this. So I'd like to still finish all the blocks next week, So getting a little bit ahead of it here this week would be great. All right, I think we will have just enough time to trim these, which would be awesome. Well, another just little step, because I would love to be able to finish this one and a whole nother one tomorrow, whereas we would have probably only been able to do 1.5, but we're kind of zooming ahead on this beginning part of it, so we can just start sewing right away tomorrow, which would be awesome. And it'll be fun to get a little peek of what this is going to look like too. Squeaking some extra steps in tonight. So that's nice. All right, so a couple more cuts and that will be good for this evening. I do want to line it all up though. Exactly. Jill says, I agree with you putting them in the separate piles, the odds and evens. The less I have to use my brain, the better. I totally agree. Especially in the evenings like this, sometimes you just gotta... Ooh, I'm really close to the edge here. You gotta help yourself out with these little tricks sometimes. Alright, let's just rotate this whole deal. On that 1.5 inch mark, ugh, I'm really moving that one up there. I hate scooching my hand up like that, which is just pretty common when you're cutting stuff, but I'm always afraid I'm going to shift everything doing that. But, that's a side effect of me doing it this way where I'm stacking everything up like this, which, is going to make things at different levels, so things are going to want to shift. But I'd still rather do it this way than cut each little bit individually. That would take forever. Alright, save these pieces. Those are nice and big. And let's see what it's going to look like. I'm going to lay this all out, and then we'll call it an evening. So this is way further ahead than I thought we'd get on this one, so that's exciting. Alright, let's grab another one of these. Should only have like 5 of these left. 1, 2... 3, 4, 5. Yep. Getting there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Almost done with these little baggies for this project. They served us well, though, these little baggies. Alright, so I'm going to take the sixers out. The sixers and that center square. Although I might lay it out here a little bit. I'll just get our normal stacks going. That'll save us time. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ooh, that bold blue in the middle there. That's cool. That doesn't look right. What's going on there? I accidentally flipped it the wrong way again. Three, two, one, and last up. It's going to be so cute. And then this guy will go in the middle. It's going to be pretty. All right, there we are. That's the start of our next one. I think these are just so fun. So we're all ready to go. So that means tomorrow I will just start grabbing and going. I think we'll be able to finish this one and maybe a whole second one, which would be awesome. Then we'd only have four left. Oh, that means we could totally start doing sashing. That means we could totally start doing the sashing and laying it all out in February yet, which would be so cool. Like if we could, maybe I'll do one in the living room video. That's always really difficult. I don't know. We'll maybe lay out some rows here, or maybe I'll lay it out beforehand and we'll just sew the rows together. I can kind of take a photo beforehand of laying them out. But yeah, it'd be awesome to get some sashing going next month when we work on this again. So that'd be great. So if we could get, yeah, this and a couple more blocks done. So we have 5 left after this one. So this is 6. If we finish the 5th one, yeah, then we'll only have 4. That'll be about 3 days worth maybe of sewing. And so that'll give us at least one more day that we can lay out and start putting sashing on. Yay! We're going to start assembling this next month. Okay, that makes me happy. Feeling like we're getting it done. That's what I want. So, all right, so here are our blocks that we finished tonight. They're so cute. They're so cute. All right, I love them both. And we'll see. We'll add this one to it tomorrow. This is awesome. So thanks again, you guys. Be sure to check out penguinandfish.com to see those embroidery of the months if you want those cute, the little sewing machine guys. And we'll stitch these up, at least one. I don't know if we'll stitch them both, but we'll stitch at least one of these up the 3rd week of the month. So not next week, but the week after that. So there's still time to get the bundles and everything, the bundles with the fabric and the floss and all that in there, the hoop. All right, so thanks again, guys. I will see you tomorrow. Have a great rest of your Thursday. Good night.